Hi, my name is Eric Venegas, and this is increasing BIPOC student interest in visual communication through graffiti and street art. Now that sounds a bit academic. A better name for this lightning talk is, you can't spell design ed without D, E, and I. So let's talk about diversity, equity, and inclusivity in design education, and how they relate to students of color, graffiti, and street art. We'll start with diversity. Do you know these men? Rodchenko, Lisitsky, Moholy-Nagy. For roughly 100 years, the United States has embraced European design aesthetics as a pedagogical basis for visual communication instruction. However, as educators, we have to be mindful of the limitations of modernism, namely the one-size-fits-all lens of universalism. Universalism is not necessarily compatible with the multicultural artistic contributions of non-white cultures in the field of graphic design. Making students aware of those contributions helps BIPOC students see themselves in design. Because research demonstrates that when students of color don't see themselves in the arts or view the arts as relevant to their lives, they don't participate, study, or value art and design. Next, we'll examine equity in graphic design in both the work and school environments. Now, VisCom, like many workplaces, suffers from a lack of cultural diversity and professional equity. And according to US Census data, Black and Latinx people account for only 3.7 and 13.1% of all art, media, and design professionals. Similarly, white men have dominated the upper echelons of visual communication, leading some designers of color to adopt the attitude that the industry is, and always has been, male, pale, and stale. By the same token, people of color are also underrepresented in academic visual communication programs. And according to one study, African Americans account for only 5% of current graphic design and commercial art majors, which is a decline of 1% since 2009. So why does all this matter? By 2060, the US is estimated to become a majority-minority country, and multiple educational initiatives will be needed from schools, community-based institutions, and professional organizations like this one to combat the cultural, socioeconomic, and pedagogical barriers that prevent Black and brown students from studying graphic design. And that brings us to inclusivity. What steps can we take to make design education more inclusive and accessible for BIPOC students? This is why this research focuses on developing the Type Stylin Project, or TSP for short. TSP is envisioned as a summer program that introduces BIPOC high school students to the field of visual communication by drawing parallels between graffiti and expressive typography. Now, when you think of graffiti, what comes to mind? Juvenile delinquency, criminal behavior, and vandalism are words generally associated with illicit graffiti. However, with a culturally appropriate curriculum, well-defined student learning outcomes, and proper instruction, research suggests that graffiti can be the basis for educational tools that engage Black and Latinx students and fosters their interest in VisCom. Moreover, graffiti fulfills two academic dimensions as a vehicle for design instruction. First, graffiti art is a form of creative expression that's relatable to students of color. And second, it has aesthetic correlations to graphic design. Allow me to demonstrate. The tag is the most pervasive form of graffiti art. Students can glean lettering skills from tagging that are critical for developing more complex typographic executions. Also, tags function as a form of personal branding and are the aesthetic inspiration for many famous brands. For example, numerous hip-hop artists have utilized graffiti-inspired logos to communicate a sense of authenticity and a connection with street culture. And this includes recording artists such as Run DMC, Salt-N-Pepa, and the Wu-Tang Clan. A sample TSP assignment would challenge students to generate an original graffiti tag using the letters in their name and work through an iterative creative process. Specific aspects of the lesson would provide students with a foundational understanding of typography, teach the differences and similarities between street art, design, and demonstrate how unity, movement, and repetition contribute to a cohesive look and feel of letter forms. So in conclusion, Based on the gathered research and the future development of the type, style, and project, graffiti art has the potential to foster BIPOC student interest in VisCom. And in much the same way that hip-hop has changed the face of music, graffiti art and its ties to expressive typography may hold one of the keys to changing the face of design education regarding diversity, equity, and inclusivity. Thank you.